Okay.
Mr. Walsh, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to
the
the
flag
flag of
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, the mayor couldn't make it tonight. He sends his apologies. I don't know how many, most of us made it tonight with the way most of us have been feeling lately. So hopefully we'll get through tonight okay. School committee chair, since Mr. Mayor is not here tonight. Resource committee, we had a meeting this afternoon. We approved the drafts of the minutes of the October 9th meeting. We looked at the grants and donations, which are on tonight's agenda. We discussed school choice requests, which are for Crocker Field. I'm sorry, for Crocker Field, and there were no line item transfers. We discussed the census update, which the census is very important for not only Fitchburg, but for the state of Massachusetts. We need to count every person in the state. So Fitchburg is going to be working very hard to make sure we make the count in Fitchburg. We had a budget update on various funding sources from Mr. Jokela. Only one area we have a concern about is some overtime spending in the custodial account. And that's because of we are spending a lot of time making sure we protect our buildings during this cold weather. And we also had an update on the governor's budget, which looks good. The budget from the governor looks good for Fitchburg. And hopefully the governor's budget will go through, or some combination. Otherwise, Fitchburg could be looking at a deficit of about $2.5 million, which would be many cuts to our school system. But hopefully the budget will bring in enough money so that we won't be facing that. We also discussed the MSBA Crocker Elementary School. That kind of it, Mr. Walsh?
I'm sorry?
Anything else?
No, I think you covered everything that we covered today.
Okay. We did not have a school building meeting, but we did have a get-together last week with the Crocker Field Committee, and we're looking for money to make sure that Crocker Field is playable come this September. And thankfully, the mayor is very supportive of helping get the field in good condition for this September. Policy Committee?
Aiden, I think you're planning to meet with Paula to, have you guys got a date yet?
This week.
Okay.
Probably meeting as a full subcommittee.
Yep, before our next school committee. So we'll be meeting before March 4th and report back to you then.
Okay. Student support?
We have nothing new to report.
School personnel, we still have one group that we are still negotiating with, and we have not been able to get together for a number of reasons. Either side have not been able to meet, but that's all we need to do to finish up our 7 unions that we negotiate with. No executive committee in our student report.
All right, so a little update. We have a new rule or like policy in our school where we do allow headphones now in the hallway, so in between classes. So students are allowed to have a 1 earbud like policy. They can have an earbud in with music or whatever they have, and that's only through like their hallway like classes. So, like we have like I think a 4-minute schedule for 5-minute or 4-minute schedule for getting from one class to another. So now it's kind of a new experiment to see, how students respond to that, because we've been actually talking about this for over a year, and we finally decided to make it, like happen and see what's going to happen, and hopefully it,
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Another thing we started talking about is the school start time in the Student Advisory Council. So other school districts start earlier and would end earlier, and some start later and start later. So there's benefits to really both. Some kids like waking up early, but we've seen that attendance is lacking because some kids either don't want to wake up as early as 7:30, because we start at 7:30 and end at 2:05, but something like Algonquin starts at 7:20 and ends at 1:50. But then there's Shepherd Hill starts at 7:40, so the later start time. Now, you obviously have to meet the 990 minutes per school year. Hours, sorry. Minutes, that'd be great. 990 hours, so we've been talking about how that could be affected in school attendance, whether we were to start later or earlier.
One thing is you talk about with starting and stopping time, you have to take in the whole system, because we are a tiered bus school system where the buses are used, I believe it, 3 times, high school, middle, and elementary. So anytime we have to add buses, I'm not sure, it's $30,000-$40,000 a bus. 80 now. See, I'm getting old too, it used to be 33,000 a bus, and, so those are things that always are being taken into consideration. Any questions for our students? Jean?
I'll just say, if you are having a discussion about this, because I do teach in a system where we kind of went that route, you let the phones out just at lunch, and then you let the phones out, if they're not in class, or then you let the earbud come in, and it's just in the hallway, and, I mean, there is really no stopping it once you start it. This is my own thought about this, and, I mean, I think it's just a societal question. I understand there are different work environments that where it's acceptable to have an earbud in, and now it's the earbuds, right? Like, so it's like you're walking around with the Secret Service all the time. The kids have something going all the time, and when it's the earbud, am I saying it right? Is that the right thing? AirPod, whatever it is, I don't know. But you're not looking at the device now, right? So you don't really know what kids. It's just an interesting phenomena at this point in society, and what is happening in terms of attention and distraction. I feel like it's, for my own 2 cents, I feel like it starts you down this slippery slope where you're really it's gonna be a hard thing to be the teacher, I think, who sets the standard and says, no, take it all, make sure it's all away, make sure it's gone. Maybe kids at Fitchburg High are way more compliant than the students that I see, but I just really question where we're going in society with this. It's just an interesting moment in history. I guess why is there sort of this constant soundtrack that kids want and need, and I get that it can be soothing and it can have a real therapeutic place in peace, but I don't know.
Will it increase attendance? Yeah, isn't that the question? Of whether it will get kids back to class? Or is there some
I
kind of-
wasn't thinking about it. That's like starting later. I'm just saying you guys now are moving to this. You can have one earbud in. I mean, you got to be able to hear what's going on around you, and I know that that's why it's the one earbud, so that if you had a fire alarm or something else, like, it's just I don't know, is anybody?
But it's in between classes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I think,
Yeah.
But Pete,
I know. I mean, it's going to be each teacher as they come into class. How long's a song? It's 4 minutes in between classes? All songs are 4 minutes long, or?
I'm just going to tell you, I see kids who have it on constant all day. Like, it's just, so it's unfortunate to me that, like, you're starting this, you can just do it in the hall. But again, like, I know that the administration's really strong at Fitchburg High, and maybe everybody's really good about making sure they're off and paying attention.
I think the major problem was that kids were doing it anyway in the halls, no matter what anybody
That
said.
is the major problem.
Because there's only, 5 or 6 people that could tell no, and there's 1,200 students. So really, kids were doing it anyway, so at a point that they just allow it, and they can be more stronger in the classrooms than trying to fight it in the hallways.
So they can have that kind of like, okay, I can listen to it now, but then I have to put it away later, like
Well,
that. Kind
I'm going to ask you to come back in in a month or two and ask, like, if you feel like from your own reporting that kids are listening more now because they've been given this little outlet, I'd be curious to see. I'd be curious to see what your teachers think.
I don't think 1,200 kids are going to be doing it, in the hallways. Okay. Going to be interesting. Good luck.
Yeah.
Are you going to be using it?
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned.
If anybody's not in the education field out there, are there a lot of, is everybody using earbuds at work? Yeah, so what kind of a standard are we setting? I have a real issue with it. So please let me know how it's gonna go.
One more thing. Last meeting, you asked me to kind of go to an Fitchburg State University event with Mr. Day,
Yeah.
but it actually got rescheduled to
Okay,
March 3rd.
because it was the storm, right?
Yeah, so hopefully
Okay,
next time.
great, thanks.
Yeah.
So what's the new date?
It's on March 3rd, I believe.
Because we have it in our thing to get transportation.
Approval for
Yeah.
transportation.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
What's that? Okay, thank you. We have approval of the minutes of the previous school committee meeting.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
No executive session. Communications? Sally?
Yep, got a quickie. This is the second year that Be Positive, and this year Friends of Fitchburg Dogs are joining us. We're going to do a dog license poster contest for the third graders. And we're opening it up to, third graders in Fitchburg. So homeschoolers are welcome. If there's other kids, we'll put out the release. But the artwork must reflect the theme, love your dog, license your dog, and we'll have Police Chief Martineau and Todd Pickett, our ACO, and hopefully Julie Busa, the Assistant ACO, decide who the top posters are. We'll be getting flyers, with Paula's approval, to kids in the schools along with a template that gives the kids something to draw on, and we're going to get this to the students probably the week before February vacation, so that if teachers are looking for a really great, useful, socially responsible project for their third graders, they will have one right in front of them. And I also wanted to thank, let me get this right, Josie, Allison Flora, Jasmine from the Honors Academy Seniors, and Alhana and Stephen Mayo, who helped usher at Stratton Players' current show. And I was really pleased to have Fitchburg High School kids, usher at the show. I'm now on the board. Stratton Players is named after Helen Stratton, who was an English teacher at Fitchburg High School back in the 30s. So Fitchburg High School, and there's the Miriam Lado scholarship that is given every year in memory of another Fitchburg High School graduate who was a longtime Stratton Players member. So if you guys, the next show will be Anne of Green Gables. It'll be the last 2 weeks of June. So some of you guys will be incoming seniors, but we will be looking for student ushers, and folks should get in touch with me directly or just write info the theater, care of me. It was great. You guys did a great job making people feel welcome, and we had a 50-50 raffle, and we raised more money for the theater. So really glad to get that partnership happening with Stratton Players and, Fitchburg Public Schools a little bit more deeply.
Okay.
And if anyone needs a cough drop in the room,
No.
they're right here.
Sorry, not to continue on my rant here, but I was thinking about something, and I would like to ask if either between Mr. Jokela or the kids, somebody could kind of put this on an agenda. So we've approved a lot of money for Chromebooks in the district, and I would like to know on a daily basis, and I think this would be more of a high school issue than a middle school issue, but how many kids are bringing charged Chromebooks? Are they using their phones instead of Chromebooks? I'd just like to know, because there's a really different capability with a phone versus the Chromebook, so I wonder if somebody could kind of report on that at some point. All right, thanks.
A communication from the mayor. He just wanted to thank Mr. Jokela and Tom Peterson and his staff of custodians for the excellent work that they did this past cold snap. We had no incidents in the Fitchburg Public Schools with our buildings, and that's always a plus for us because we've had some problems in the last couple of years. So the mayor just wanted everybody to know what a good job Mr. Jokler and Tom Peters and the custodians are doing. Thank you.
Great.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. First on the agenda, we have Sean Furman, who is Fitchburg's delegate for the Governor's 351 project. So here with Sean tonight is Jen Fisher, Assistant Principal of Longsdale.
Good evening, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Great. I'd like to introduce Sean Furman.
Hi.
He's an 8th grader at our building. He is one of the most delightful young men I know. Anytime you need a hand, he's your guy to help out. I'm going to share a story from the AMC trip back in 6th grade. He was the Sherpa of the crowd. He was carrying his big backpack, and then he offered some of the smaller kids to carry their backpacks for some of them that hadn't hiked a whole lot. So Sean's just one of those stand-up guys that if you're in a pinch, you need something. He helps out with the Chromebooks. He's just one of those all-around, just great kids that you can kind of always depend on and lean on. So when the 351 came up, the teachers were asking for nominees, and someone had thrown out Sean's name, and I said, yep, I'm going to definitely follow up and make sure he gets in because it was such a great program. But I want him to talk about his experience there.
It was a lot of fun. When I first got there, I was really, really nervous since I know no one there. But as soon as we started to know each other, everyone in my little group became best friends. I still talk to them now. And we helped so many people. Like from I read from the email, we helped 19,000 people that entire day. And just my group alone helped 800 kids. So it was an amazing experience.
Why don't you talk about what you did at Faneuil Hall?
So at Faneuil Hall, we got there and we met our group, and the governor got there, the police commissioner got there, the I forget her name, but the first black congresswoman was there.
Ayanna Pressley.
Yes, and they went up to the stage, talked a little bit, and then we went off to our own little separate groups, and then we went off to our nonprofit organizations that we were supposed to help. My little group went to Crayons to Crayons, where they make little care packages for kids, and they put clothes, boots, toys, stuff like that thing, and they put them together and they send it off to kids. And that's what my group did.
And did you have to give a speech?
Yes, we had to give a speech. I was asked to give a speech to the entire 400 kids that was there, which was a lot more nervous than I was now.
What was your speech about?
They asked us to say what we did, and I think his name was Charlie, asked us like what we felt and what we could do better.
So could you repeat that speech for us right now? Only kidding. Very impressive.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of Sean, and I don't want him to go to high school.
We want you to go to high school.
I told her to put him on the salary.
Applying for
at
the
school.
Honors Academy?
I am not. I'm applying for Monty Tech.
What's your trade? What do you think you're
I
gonna do?
love computers, so I want to go into IT technician. So everything about computers I love.
He'll be heading up the tech department for Fitchburg Public Schools.
That's great.
Any further questions?
Are you heading off to Washington?
Yes,
Good.
definitely. I will not be missing that.
Good, because I'm going to ask you right now, you should consider running for office. Down the road, because you're the way you're presenting yourself and the way your positive energy and the recommendations of people that we really, really respect, like Mrs. Fisher, that goes a long way. So while you're pursuing computers, do think about public service at some point down the line. And then when you run, you can say, a few people have asked me to do this.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Congratulations. Yeah, sure.
These are his teachers. Get up here. Come on. And they're Patriots, dear. It's okay.
They're proud Patriots.
Well, the mayor's going to be mad.
I know.
Yeah.
So it'll be on Project 351's website. Okay.
Okay, and next up, we have 3 students from our current events club. Some familiar faces, come on up. We have Elle Scott and Lisa Paven.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back,
I
Lisa.
think Lisa's been here before.
Oh, yeah.
Couple times.
Couple times.
Elle might have been too. I don't know, have you been here before?
This is my first time. My sister showed up here once.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're from the Current Events Club. I'm the president. I'm Elle Scott.
I'm the secretary, Lisa Pavant.
And then our vice president was supposed to be here, Estelle Arsenault, but she was sick, unfortunately. So we started the Current Events Club last year. This is our second year doing it. And I was the vice president last year and became the president this year. And currently we are working, well, we already started it. It's a food bin in the cafeteria because we noticed that a lot of food was going to waste because students are required to take a fruit and most take a milk too. So we decided to come up with this bin that we put right near where students empty their tray, and they can put any like sealed fruits, milks into this bin. And then we wanted to donate it somewhere locally, so we chose Our Father's House. So every week we bring all the food that we collect from that week and we donate it to Our Father's House. And we've donated over 500 items so far.
Great.
That's great.
Oh.
Very good.
Yes. So that was our food bin. And then also we are currently working on a water bubbler, like fundraising for a water bubbler that has a cooling and filtering system in the bubbler. And we received $500 from Sodexo last year to the Current Events Club, and we are currently working on a presentation to present to United Way Youth Venture for more funding. So we're in the process of doing that right now, along with continuing the food bin.
And the water bubbler will be placed near the girls' locker room, so it's an ideal place, for sporting events. When people come out to the locker rooms, they'll see that, and they can fill their water bubblers. And
It'd be
It's
like,
one of the ones you can put your water bottle in.
yeah, and it's
be
nice.
like one of those
because-
freestanding ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
It also has a system where you can see how many plastic water bottles were salvaged, so we can also keep track to see how much our waste has gone down within the school as well.
That's cool.
Question, what's the total cost of one of those?
It's like 3,000.
Yeah, so there's different models that we can choose from. We talked to the custodians at the high school, and the reason why the location is right near the girls' locker room, it's in between the boys' and girls' locker room. And we thought that was convenient too because athletes after school are more likely to use it. And we're not sure the total cost. I think, it's different model to model, but it's going to be between $2,000 and $3,000, and plus installation.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Great.
Jim?
I follow Current Events Club on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And I say, I enjoy every week when you post your picture of what you've collected and sent to Our Father's House. And I said last week, and I retweeted, I said it's the best tweet that I see every week. It's good to see kids caring about other people, and I'm really proud of you that you selected a local group that can benefit by what you do, and that you realize that there was no reason for a lot of what was being thrown away, had to be thrown away, that it could be used again by somebody. And I know Kevin McLean in Our Father's House appreciate what you do for them as well. So congratulations, keep up with it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any question?
That's it.
Thank you, young ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, and then back on its action items are a couple field trips. One is the Phantom of the Opera trip funded by the Deacon Jones Foundation. That'll be happening on March 21st.
Sorry, Steve.
That's okay. If you want to just come back up to the table.
It's so good to see our former students all grown up. It's crazy. So we're at the tail end of the Deacon Jones Phantom of the Opera trip. We have the med certified person and first aid certified person ready to go. Mrs. Robillard's very excited about going. The kids are excited, so we're looking forward to it. So we're hoping you approve it and get this show on the road, and the kids are really excited.
Question, so the total number of students is 18 from grades 7 to 9.
Yeah.
And this is going to Providence, that's an adventure in itself.
I know.
So I'm really, really pleased to see this. This is, and again, it's a life-changing kind of show. So I just want to say, bring it on, more kids, more shows, more everything.
Robillard's goal is to get this a bigger art club, and she's doing some fantastic stuff. She's get the kiln fired up. They're doing a lot of different things. She's had artists come in and do silver jewelry making with the kids. She's doing some unbelievable stuff with the kids after school.
Can you have her reach out to me, because we can arrange for the kids, like to go to the dress rehearsal of Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah.
And all it would cost is transportation, and, usually dress rehearsals are early in the week and they'd be at night.
Yeah.
But have her talk to me, or you talk to me. Let's get them to come see the dress rehearsal.
I think they would love that.
Yeah, and there'd be no limit. I mean, everyone,
Yeah.
so.
And with our new drama position, he's finding his way, which is a good thing, but I'd like to have him do more community-based stuff as we get going and rolling with our drama program, so we can tie it all together.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to come in and talk to people. Just we'll connect and figure out the time.
Absolutely.
But this is like so exciting.
Yeah.
This is great.
Could be a fun.
And they're the right age for this show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, thank you. We'll put pictures on our Facebook page, so. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks.
Bob, before we move on, any public comments? Anybody wish to speak? Seeing none, okay. Budget item.
Okay, well, we have one more, the Nature's Classroom trip.
Yeah, okay.
Melissa?
Thought we took care of it.
Hi. So I'm Melissa Chasen. I teach 5th grade special ed here at Memorial, and I am taking on responsibility of Nature's Classroom from Carrie Boyden, who has been a godsend through the whole process. I know for this week's meeting, I submitted my first aid CPR certification. I will be going on the bus with the students. I don't know if there are any other questions.
This is something that's happened ongoing every year.
Many years.
Same class, always
Yes.
fifth grade. Okay.
Mhm.
And always going up to the same location?
Yes, in Charlton.
Can I just say, Melissa is a Maynard alum, and I think it's great that Fitchburg has her. So.
Great. Well,
And it's awesome that you're going to do the Nature's Classroom
Oh, I'm
trip.
so excited for it.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
So good
No
luck.
questions? Okay.
Have fun.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Budget items.
Okay, budget items. We have some donations on the agenda tonight for school committee approval. Tonight we have Ken Block present. And you're making a donation of a little over $1,300. I don't know if you want to come up to the table, Ken, and
Good evening. Actually, this is a continuation of a donation from the class of '68 of Fitchburg High School. I think many of you know that we're responsible for the Nook at the high school, which I understand is a really well-used and appreciated resource at this point. But we did have some monies left over after we divided them up, and we gave the principal discretion as to how he wanted to use them, and we have put through the forms, and we are more than happy to have him use them in this manner.
That's great.
I'm also going to note, from a personal point of view, we also have another member of the class of 1968. And from my personal point of view, I have a former student from my days of adjunct faculty at Mount Wachusett. Yes.
business law.
Yes, absolutely.
Remember it well.
Yes.
Small.
So, small world.
So, yeah,
Full circle.
full circle, exactly.
just to make a comment, Mr. Block is an attorney, and he is a very important member of the executive board of the Fitchburg High School Alumni Association. And anytime we have legal work, we give it to Mr. Block, and he's very much involved with helping us investing our funds, and he's a great asset to the community and to the Alumni Association and to all the students who will receive awards from Fitchburg High School.
Thank you for those kind words.
Thank you, Ken.
All set?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. In addition, tonight we have a $1,000 donation from Sodexo for student activities in the principal's account. Representative Stephen Hay has agreed to make a donation to help with the transportation for the rescheduled event at the Bull Run with David Hoag. And lastly, we have a donation of $200 for a tablet that'll be used in ESL classrooms at South Street.
Okay.
For grants tonight, we have 3 grants that the Resource Subcommittee reviewed earlier this afternoon and supported with a recommendation to be approved. The first one is for family support, $10,145. And this is, I think, a supplement to some of the hurricane relief monies, correct, Paula? For $10,145. The next grant is the Innovation School Enhancement Grant, $15,000 for McKay Arts Academy. And lastly, we have the Fitchburg Educational Foundation received the third of 3 installments from the George R. Wallace Foundation for $25,000, which are being used to support the Early Childhood Literacy Initiative, the Footsteps to Brilliance program. And again, that money is the last installment being used to secure the software license or the web-based application for the next 2 years. Tonight for school choice, there's an action item for $26,000. In your packet tonight are 3 summary pages from CDBG grants that were recently submitted to the city that Pete Stevens and myself presented to the reviewing panel. I just made copies of the application pages. The 3 projects are at Crockerfield are the grandstand rear wall for some repair, then restore the grandstand benches, and lastly, the field house roof is the 3rd phase. And the school choice funds of $26,000 would be approximately 50% of those costs.
Matching grants with
Matching grants.
Yep.
And then lastly, tonight, we have 3 votes required for the school department and for the city to submit statements of interest to the Mass School Building Authority under their accelerated repair program. We have one for the Goodrich roof. We have one for the South Street Elementary West Wing roof, one for the, and actually that's combined with the boilers in the South Street West building, or South building. And then lastly, one statement of interest for the roof at Fitchburg High School, is that roof has already reached its 20-year useful life and is leaking. So those are the 3 action items before you tonight. And tomorrow night, I'll be going before the city's finance committee and the council as a whole for them to approve these statements of interest votes as well.
A motion to take these as a group?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that if we could group together the 2 field trips, 19-1107 and 19-1108.
The second? We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And if I could, I'd like to recognize the donation from Mr. Block in the class of 68, 19-1109, approve that, vote on that separately to recognize that.
Make that a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'll say that we group the rest of the
I think, one more.
Okay.
191111, approved the donation of $160 for transportation so that the FHS students to travel the Bull Run, Shirley, Mass, to participate in the Parkland David Hogue panel discussion from Representative Stephen Hay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we would take 191110, the donation of $1,000 from Sodexo.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So then we will 1112 through 1118 as a group.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No executive session, motion for adjournment.
Motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The mayor should be sorry, this is one of the shortest meetings we ever had.